Hello, everyone, and welcome to English for You. I'm Mike.
And I'm Laura.
Today, Laura, we're going to be talking about something kind of complicated, but also something very common as well. But for younger people, it might still be something they don't use a lot yet. I'm an older person, and I don't use this a lot either, actually. We're talking about credit card auto payments.
Exactly.
Or Autopay, as it's often shortened down to. This is basically when you kind of tell your credit card and your bank that there's a company, maybe something that you get a service from every month.
Right.
And instead of sending you the paper bill and having you do it at home, they just take the money out of your bank account.
And I don't really trust that. I'm like an oldie as well. I feel like, I have to really go through what I spent, and making sure they're not taking my money without before I know it, it's like, oh, okay, you just deducted the money.
Especially if it's something that might go up or down every month, depending on how much you use it, right? I mean, I have one. It's for the New York Times, which I get on my phone, and it's like 30 NT a month.
Okay, that's fine.
It can't really go strange or be suddenly, oh my God, it's 3,000. No, it's pretty normal. But yeah, if it's for a credit card or, something like that you might use a lot one month and less, you got to be paying attention.
I know. I always check every statement and stuff.
Exactly. And of course, some other people just don't want their credit card information out there on the internet. They just feel that might cause problems if hackers or...
Your personal info, right?
That's right. People steal your info. So there's a few things to think about. And also, you have to understand how this system works. So let's find out more about it as we meet Peter and Kay and find out what's going on with their credit card auto pay.
Reading. Credit card auto pay. Is it worth the risks? Peter and Kay are discussing automatic payments for credit card accounts.
I've accidentally paid for an unauthorized transaction. I use Autopay for my credit card and didn't check the bill.
Can't you get the money back if you contact the bank?
Probably, but I'm wondering if I should cancel the Autopay now. What do you think?
Well, Autopay is convenient. I guess it depends on if that's important to you. Autopay allows you to save time too, since you don't have to pay the bill yourself.
I don't want the stress of worrying about paying the bill on time. There are problems like the one I've experienced, though. It's easy to forget to check your bill to make sure all the transactions are genuine.
Also, if your credit card bank takes more money than you can afford, you'll be overdrawn. Then you could owe a lot of money.
That's true. I'll think about this and decide later. First, I will email the bank and get them to cancel this charge.
Okay, so the full title of our article, actually it's a dialogue, is Credit Card Auto Pay. Is it worth the risks? All right, that's a question you would ask when there is some possible danger involved in something you're doing and you're kind of trying to balance, here's the danger, but here's the good stuff. So is it worth it, right? Is it worth the risks? Is it worth the danger or the trouble? Or, what if something goes wrong? So as we begin the dialogue, it says, Peter and Kay are discussing automatic payments for credit card accounts.
Wow.
Yeah, that might make me a little uncomfortable because credit card accounts go right into your bank. They can be high one month, low one month. They're always changing. And if you make a problem with that, it could cost you a lot of money. But the good thing about this system is it is automatic.
Nice.
Very true. Now, if something is automatic, this basically means it works by itself.
Yes.
It doesn't need a person there to control it, to start it, to, make sure it's not doing its job. No, it's doing its job. It's a computer program. It's a machine that's set up to basically work on its own. For example, this automatic door only opens when someone comes near it.
Of course. Okay. It's like when you walk into a 7-Eleven.
Exactly. And of course, the door will also close.
Automatically.
Yes.
Okay. 我们来一开始看到的两个主角就是 Peter and Kay。两个人在讨论什么呢？信用卡账户的自动付款。其中我们看到了 automatic 这个字，它是一个形容词。就是自动的啦，自动化的。所以刚刚我们一直在讲的 automatic doors， 就是像是我们有时候去便利超商或者很多地方会有那种自动门，它会自动帮你打开跟关上。或者呢，我们也可以提到一个 camera 的功能，相机的功能 automatic focus on the camera.
Right.
Yeah, actually, I have a camera and it's fully automatic. It's more convenient.
So you just hold it up, wait a second, and it works.
Yes.
All right. My old camera, you have to dial things, control things, choose all your settings. It's not as convenient, that's for sure. All right, let's get into our dialogue. Now, Peter begins and he says, I've accidentally paid for an unauthorized transaction. Uh-oh. He's basically made a mistake while using his credit card, and he's paid for an unauthorized transaction. He's paid more money than he needs to, or he spent money on something that maybe he didn't buy. But basically, he made a mistake, and so now he's lost some money.
Yeah, exactly. 所以一开始我们就看到 Peter， 惨咯。他说我不小心付了一个未经授权的交易 ，accidentally， OK， 就是不小心啊，意外的意思。它是一个副词。Unauthorized 这个字呢，其实要认真注意。我们在提到任何的一笔金钱或是信用卡交易，都要认得这个字，它是一个形容词，就是未经授权的，或者呢，一般还可以指未经许可的。而 transaction 就是指交易的意思啦，是个名词。
All right. And then it says, I use Autopay for my credit card and didn't check the bill. Yeah. Well, if you use Autopay, that's great. But you do sort of have to make sure that it's working all the time. It can kind of make mistakes. And if you don't notice, it can be hard to fix those mistakes later on. So he uses Autopay normally for his credit card. This time he got the bill. That's probably a piece of paper they send to his home or maybe send to his phone in an email that lists out all the money he spent, but he didn't look at that. So he didn't see the problem until much later.
Right, okay, and that's why I don't want to use Autopay.
Well, you gotta be paying attention.
Okay, 我们来看一下，这时候他就是说这怎么发生？因为他说我的信用卡是自动付款哦，然后呢，我没有检查账单。那我们都知道 auto 好像是自动的，对不对？刚刚有提到 automatic， 那Pay 是付款，所以 Autopay 合起来就是自动付款啦。所以很多 auto 开头的字就是有自动的意思。那我们可以跟名词啦、动词或者是形容词连用哦。
All right, so yes, Autopay, it will pay automatically. All right, well, so Kay is listening to Peter's problem. Ooh, yeah, you don't want to be spending money on unauthorized transactions, losing money because, you know, some Autopay app or whatever made a mistake. So she's trying to help him fix this. She says, can't you get the money back if you contact the bank? Well, in many cases, this might be true, especially if you do it soon after the problem. You can get in contact or you can contact the bank. That means basically call them, write them, go down to the bank in person and say, oh, there's been a problem. I didn't spend this money or, you know, there was a mistake. I didn't want to send it to this person. And they can help you get the money back or not lose that money. Right. And when we contact someone, basically, we reach out to them so that we can communicate with them, probably using a phone or an email or a text message or something like that. If you walk over to someone or, you know, see them on the street and stop to talk to them, you're not really contacting them. You're kind of saying, here's a person, I need to talk to that person or I need to communicate that with that person. So when you pick up the phone and call them or when you write that email and send it off, now you are trying to contact that person. We could also say you're trying to get in contact with that person. So we could use it both as a verb and a noun. Here's an example sentence. Ooh, very important. Did you call mom? She's been trying to contact you all morning. Wow. If your mom is trying to contact you, you should definitely call her back right away. All right, let's get back to the dialogue and see if Kay can help Peter out with his slightly sticky situation.
我们刚刚看回课文，他讲的没有错。他说，如果你联络银行，难道不能把钱拿回来吗？ That's a good point. Contact 就是与什么什么联系，它可以当做动词来用，在本课的意思是当做动词哦。举例来讲 I tried to contact him at his office.But he wasn't in. 我试着打给他的办公室电话，可是他并不在哦。或者我们常常会听到这个是非常商用的说法 Should you ever need anything, please don't hesitate to contact me.
Okay.
如果你需要任何东西完全就是可以马上跟我联络。
All right, well, back to the article. So Peter's kind of listening to or thinking of Kay's advice. She said, get in contact with the bank. Maybe they can help you get the money back, right? And Peter says, probably. So, yeah, I think so. Or it's like maybe even a little bit more. That should work. Probably, he says. But I'm wondering if I should cancel the auto pay now. What do you think? So he's thinking of kind of two problems here. Getting his money back today and also not having the same problem in the future. Getting in contact with the bank should help him get his money back now.But canceling the auto pay might help him avoid the problem in the future. Because that's kind of the thing with machines, right? Once they start to do something funny, you're not sure if they're just never going to do it again or if they're going to do it more and more now. So he's a little worried.
I can totally relate,
Yeah, he wants to avoid the problem. So maybe canceling the auto pay would be a good idea. But he doesn't know the answer to this question. He doesn't really know what he should do. So that's why he's wondering. All right? When we wonder things, we're kind of thinking about possibilities. We're thinking about some answers to some questions, maybe, but we don't really know. Or it could just be things that it's impossible for us to know. Like, I wonder what Justin Bieber is doing right now. How am I going to know? But I can think about it. I can use my imagination. I can make the best guesses possible. But really, when you wonder, you're looking for an answer that you probably won't really be able to find.
Yes.
For example, I wonder if it will rain next weekend.
Well, that's a long time away. Next weekend.
And I could look at the weather report, but it could change. So you can't really know.
Right.
And we also had that word cancel. He was wondering if he should cancel his auto pay. And yeah, cancel is basically to stop something or to stop something from happening. All right. We often cancel events or plans or activities, things that were going to happen in the future, things that were on the schedule, but because of a problem or because you can't, you say, nope, we're not doing that. We're canceling that activity or that plan. For example, the outdoor food festival was canceled because of rain.
Okay.
It was going to happen. Now it's not going to happen.
Because it's an outdoor
It's been
activity.
canceled.
Exactly. 好，这时候他就说，可能是可以把钱拿回来了，但是呢，我还在想说，我现在是不是应该要取消自动付款？然后这时候他就问对方说 ，What do you think？ 你觉得呢？这样 O 不 OK？ 首先，我们先来看一下刚刚我们提到的 wonder 这个字要怎么用哦。Wonder 在这里呢是当做动词来用哦，就是很疑惑，想知道这样的意思。像是如果有人觉得说，怎么现在这么晚了，你还可以在外面逗留？难道你的爸妈不会担心吗？ It's getting late. Shouldn't you call home? Your parents will be wondering where you are. 现在很晚，是不是应该要给家里打个电话？你父母可能会很想知道你在哪里哟。或者呢，有时候礼貌的时候，我们可能要用委婉词来跟对方说，不知道你是不是愿意怎么样怎么样。举例来说 ，We were wondering if you like to have dinner with us sometime， 意思就是，不知道你是否愿意，可以跟我们吃一顿饭呢？有没有这个时间呢 ？So we were wondering 是有一种我不想要，就是说，可不可以跟我们吃饭？就是比较礼貌，我们不太确定你可不可以 O 不 OK。或者是更礼貌的用法，有时候呢我们可以用 wonder 然后再接上一个 wh 的字来表示不好意思，可不可以如何如何，像是 I wonder whether you could pass me the butter. This is very polite. 你能不能把奶油递给我呢？ And of course we saw the word cancel， 就是取消终止，它是一个动词。 they had to cancel tomorrow's game because of the bad weather.
Oh, and the food festival.
Oh, that's right. 因为天气太糟，他们不得不取消明天的比赛。Or sometimes if you're taking the train, oh, I hate it when this happens.
What happened to the train?
The 7:10 train to Tainan has been canceled.
Oh, really? That too?
Yeah.
All the fun's been canceled.
I know. Now we can't go to Tainan.
What are we going to do?
I don't know.
We'll stay home and play with our auto. Kay points out next, well, Autopay is convenient. It is kind of. When it works right, it is convenient. It saves you from forgetting your bills or even paying attention to them. You don't end up skipping them and then having to pay more money later.
Oh.
It's not something you got to sit down and organize every month. It does it all for you. So it is convenient. And then she says, I guess it depends on if that's important to you. Sure, if you're super busy or just have a very bad memory, then Autopay could be very useful and very convenient and important. But if it's going to make you nervous and feel like, oh, I don't know if this is going to work, and every day I check it to make sure it's not making mistakes, that could not be convenient for you.
Could stress you out even more.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, oh my God,
cause trouble.
Did I pay or not?
Right.
OK， 所以这时候 Kay 就说，他给了一个蛮中肯的建议。他说，自动付款是很方便啦，可是我想还是取决于，如果你觉得方不方便，这个是很重要的哦。Depend on something 就是取决于什么什么。Yeah, it really depends.
It absolutely does depend. All right. Well, back to Kay. She's also mentioning a few of the other good things about Autopay, other ways it's convenient. Autopay allows you to save time too, since you don't have to pay the bill yourself.
OK， 所以这时候我们回到课文，他说 Autopay 就是自动付款，也会让你省时间啊，这样你就不用自己一个一个去缴费哦。那这里的 since 注意哦，它是连接词，是当作既然、因为 because 这样的意思哦。
And for Peter, it sounds like the stress is kind of the thing he's most focused on and not the convenience. He says, I don't want the stress of worrying about paying the bill on time. Oh, so maybe Autopay actually is good for him because, for some people, the stress about paying the bill on time is another thing to be worried or to be stressed about. Because if you pay the bills late, that is not on time, it can actually cost you more money.
Yes, it can. OK， 所以这时候 Peter 又有提到说，为什么他可能觉得 Autopay 还是比较好。他说，我不想为了准时缴费而紧张有压力哦。On time 就是准时的意思。Mike is always on time.
I try to be on time. Not always with my bill paying, though. That is something.
But at work you are.
At work I try to be on time. Absolutely. So back to Peter, he says, there are problems like the one I've experienced, though. So, having the Autopay to pay your bills on time is great, but what about the problems? Like the problem he just experienced. As he says, it's easy to forget to check your bill to make sure all the transactions are genuine.
OK， 所以没有有一好没两好那种感觉，他就说，可是就可能又会遇到我刚刚那样子的问题。那是什么问题呢？就是你很容易忘记去检查你的账单，确认所有的交易都是正确的或是真的哦。我们来看一下 make sure 就是有确保、确认的意思，而 genuine 就是真实的、真正的，它是一个形容词。You're a genuine friend.
Oh, well, thank you. You too. You too. And so back to Kay.
Right.
Now, she's kind of talking about the same idea. She says also, if your credit card bank takes more money than you can afford, you'll be overdrawn. Oh, that's a good point. Then you could owe a lot of money, right? Because the Autopay is not your mom. It's not going to be like, oh, you don't have enough money here to pay for this. Ooh, what are we going to do? It's just going to take the money. And if you don't have enough money, let's say there's only 5,000 NT in your bank, but you have to pay a $10,000 bill, then you will be minus 5,000 at the bank. And the people at the bank, they won't be happy about that.
You probably have to pay interest on top of that.
Yeah, and it'll be hard for you to get a credit card in the future because they'll say, you spend too much money. And you're like, it was my Autopay. It went crazy. What am I supposed to do? But it's not a good situation to find yourself in when you owe money, especially to a bank or a credit card company. or something like that. Because to owe is basically means you have to pay something or give something back. Okay, if you borrow money from someone, that's fine. But then you owe that person. You have to pay them back. In some ways, you might even feel if someone does something nice for you, they do you a favor, they buy you lunch one day, well, then you owe them a lunch. You should pay them back so that everything is back at zero. Everything is nice and even. For example, hey, here's the $200 I owe you.
OK， 所以这时候我们要课文，他说，而且如果你的信用卡银行扣掉你可以负担的金额以上呢，你会怎么样？你当然就会透支啊，这样你可能就会欠很多钱，而且呢，你可能还会欠一些利息之类的。Overdrawn 就是透支的，它是一个形容词，而 owe 就是欠的意思，欠债啦，它是一个动词。比方像是 Yeah, the other day I forgot to bring my money, so I owe Tiffany $100, NT dollars.
Okay, good.
还好，我只欠他100块。
Not US dollars.
Okay, doesn't always have to be money. For example, I owe you a drink for helping me move.
Sure, absolutely. Or you can just say, I owe you for
Yeah.
something you did. Just means in the future, I would like to do something nice to you for what you did for me.
Or sometimes you could talk about the phrase owe somebody an apology or an explanation.
Right, yeah.
你欠对方一个道歉这样子的一个意思哦。所以 owe 有很多用法，要看它的上下文。So let's move on to the article. I wonder what Peter thinks.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of different things to think about here. Good things about Autopay, not so good things about Autopay. Things that Autopay can help you avoid, or problems that Autopay might bring into your life. So thinking about all of this,
Right?
Peter says, that's true. And then this is all very true. These are all good points. And then he says, I'll think about this and decide later. Okay, well, that's good. It's a good idea when there's something kind of complicated and there's some good and some bad things about it. You don't have to decide right away. You can think about it a little bit more and decide later. But then he says, back to his original problem. First, I will email the bank and get them to cancel this charge. Now, notice this charge that he's talking about is a noun. We're not using it as a verb, like you might charge something on your credit card, or like a bull might charge at you. No, here we're talking about a charge. And when we're talking about buying things and how much things cost, a charge is basically something you have to pay. It's a cost, and it's an expense. It's a fee. What's written on your restaurant bill? Well, that's a charge. That's what you have to pay for the food that you just bought. And we always use this, especially with services, right? Someone will charge you for driving you somewhere, or taking something for you, or fixing something in your house. We can also talk about anything that is on our credit card bill. That is a charge. There's a very crazy charge here for some expensive hotel. I didn't stay there. What's going on? For example, I don't understand why there is a charge for plane tickets on my credit card. I haven't gone anywhere since last year. Oh, that is very strange. Who put that charge on my credit card? It wasn't me.
好，在考量这么多情况之下，Peter 就想说的没有错，我会想想看，然后待会做出决定。不过最重要的是，首先我会先发 email， 就是电子邮件给银行，然后让他们取消这个费用啦。email 在这里是当做动词哦，就是给什么人发电子邮件。而 charge 就是费用，它是当做名词来用，像是 free of charge 就是免费的意思 ，admission charge 就是入场费，或者是有时候我们可能很好奇 ，is there a charge for children or do they go free？就是说小孩子要收费还是他们是免费呢？ Well, that comes to the end of today's article. No, we have more tomorrow.
Oh, okay. All right, because we don't know if he's going to stick with Autopay or not.
Exactly, right.
So there you go. But we do have just enough time for a quick look at our chat questions. So let's go and do that now.
For you, chat.
All right. So yeah, for our chat question, we have basically the kind of question that Peter was thinking about in our dialogue. Would you choose to use Autopay? So that can be a yes or no answer. But here's the harder part. explain your answer. Would you choose to use Autopay? And explain your answer, please.
No, because I have a pretty good memory and I do always pay my bills on time.
Good for you.
So, and I always want to go through like every transaction to make sure that, whoever or this shop is actually charging the right number.
Yeah.
I always want to be very careful, extra careful with my money.
Okay.
Yeah, what about you? You're already using it?
No, I don't. I don't actually use it. I don't really know about all the things that I can use it for.
Okay.
One of the things is a lot of those bank apps in Taiwan are mostly in Chinese.
Right.
So I might find it confusing to use.
Oh, okay.
But no, I think I'm kind of like you.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of things that I would be auto-paying. So looking through the few bills I get every month, it's not a big problem.
It's not a big deal for me.
But I guess if you're like a business owner,
probably,
a really busy person, it might be useful. So what about you guys? Would you choose to use Autopay? Is it something that would help you in your life? Would it bring all sorts of convenient things to your life or possibly some trouble? Talk about that. And be sure to come back and join us tomorrow for more great articles. Until then, bye-bye.
Vocabulary Review.
Automatic. Most modern TVs use an automatic turn-off feature when they haven't been used for a while. Contact. Phil contacted his boss to say he was sick and wouldn't come in to work. Wonder. Someone has taken my lunch from the fridge again. I wonder who took it. Cancel. I think we'll have to cancel our vacation because the typhoon looks like it'll be very bad. Oh. Here's the 400 NT dollars that I owe you. You gave it to me to buy dinner last week. Charge. I just noticed a charge on my credit card for something I didn't buy.
智慧小补帖
Accidentally. Unauthorized. Transaction. Genuine. Overdrawn.
以上节目是由活用空中美语制作，活用空中美语杂志，请洽询全国各大书店。如欲索取试听教材，请来电02-2364-4000 02-2364-4000，或上网查询，网址是 www.english4u.net www.english4u.net